kryptonite. May this story be your path to peace and rest. Yarow and Pea, A Tale of Happiness. This story is about a human named Yarow and a chipmunk named Pea, who find true happiness in their simple, enduring friendship. There was a human named Yarow who lived in a small, cozy cottage by the edge of a vast, enchanted forest. Yarow had a heart as kind and warm as the golden sunsets that painted the sky each evening. One day, while exploring the forest, Yarow stumbled upon a little chipmunk named Pea. He was a sprightly, cheerful creature with bright, inquisitive eyes and a tail that twitched with every step. Yarow extended a friendly hand, and Pea, sensing the gentle spirit of Yarow, scurried up and nestled comfortably on his shoulder. From that moment, an unbreakable bond of friendship was formed. Hearing their adventures, Yarow and Pea discovered the simple joys of life. They delighted in the sweet melodies of birds, the rustle of leaves, and the soothing whispers of the wind. They shared stories of dreams and wonders, laughter echoing through the forest. One sunny afternoon, they found a hidden meadow filled with the most beautiful flowers. Yarow picked a brilliant red flower and placed it delicately behind Pea's ear. A chipmunk chirped happily, and Yarow felt a surge of happiness like never before. As the seasons changed, so did their experiences. They marveled at the beauty of autumn leaves kissed by frost, turning golden brown. Winter brought snow, and they built a cozy den to stay warm. Spring arrived with blooming flowers and new adventures, and summer shone brightly with endless laughter as they played under the radiant sun. Through it all, Yarow and Pea learned that happiness wasn't found in grand moments but in the simple, everyday experiences they share. Their friendship became the beacon of their joy, illuminating even the gloomiest days. One evening, as they watched the sunset, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Pea nuzzled Yarow's cheek and whispered, "This is what happiness feels like." Yarow smiled, knowing that the best part of his life was the love and friendship he shared with his little chipmunk friend. And so, under the twilight sky, they fell asleep, dreaming of more delightful adventures ahead together. Let's wander softly into another story. Delightful Nights with Hannah and wise old Lobelia. This story is about a girl named Hannah, who experiences a magical nighttime adventure with a wise old owl named Lobelia, where she learns the importance of delight in keeping one's side open to the wonders of the night. Tale of Hannah time. In a serene village nestled at the edge of an ancient forest, a little girl named Hannah lived with her loving family. Hannah had a kind heart and a curious mind, always eager to learn about the world around her. Every night before bed, she would sit by her window, looking out at the vast forest that seemed to whisper secrets in the moonlight. One night, as she gazed at the stars, she heard a gentle hoot coming from the old oak tree outside her window. Intrigued, she quietly slipped out of bed and tiptoed to the tree. Perched on a sturdy branch was an owl with feathers as soft as the night and eyes that shimmered like emeralds. "Hello there," the owl said in a voice both wise and warm. "I am Lobelia, the wise old owl. What brings you out here at this hour?" Hannah, surprised but unafraid, replied, "I heard your hoof and was curious." "The night is so beautiful and full of mysteries," Lobelia nodded, his feathers ruffling softly. "Would you like to join me for a nighttime adventure, Hannah?" Her eyes sparkled with delight. "Oh, I would love to." With that, Lobelia extended one of his wings, and as Hannah touched it, she found herself lifted into the air. They soared above the treetops, the cool breeze carrying them higher and higher. Below them, the village looked like a cluster of tiny stars, and the forest glowed with an ethereal light. Lobelia guided her to a hidden clearing deep within the forest, where the trees formed a natural amphitheater. In the center, surrounded by glowing fireflies, were creatures of all kinds, deer, rabbits, and even a fox waiting expectantly. "Welcome, Anna," the creatures chorused. "We gather here every night to celebrate the beauty of the world." Hannah felt a warmth in her heart she had never known before. Lobelia invited her to sit among the animals, and they shared stories, sang songs, and danced under the moonlight. Time seemed to stand still as laughter and joy filled the clearing. As dawn approached, the creatures bade Hannah farewell with promises to meet again. Lobelia flew her back to her window, and as she climbed into bed, he whispered, "Remember, Hannah, the light is all around you if you just keep your heart open." With a grateful smile, Hannah closed her eyes and drifted into the sweetest sleep, dreaming of her magical night. From that day on, every night felt a little more special, for she knew that wonder awaited those who believed in the magic of the night. Now, let's move gently into the next journey. Snowdrop and Kathleen Enchanted Surprise. This story is about a girl named Snowdrop and her pet hamster Kathleen, who experienced the magical surprise in an enchanted forest. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house nestled at the edge of an enchanting forest, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Snowdrop and her delightful pet hamster, Kathleen. Snowdrop was a young girl with bright eyes as blue as the crisp winter sky, and a smile that could melt the coldest of hearts. Kathleen, her furry little companion, had golden fur that shone like the first rays of dawn and tiny sparkly eyes full of curiosity. One chilly evening, as the first snowflakes of the season gently danced through the air, Snowdrop and Kathleen were snuggled up by the fireplace. Snowdrop had been diligently working on a beautiful handmade quilt to keep them warm during the long winter nights. She hummed a soft tune while stitching, her melody blending with the crackling of the warm fire. Kathleen watched her with fascination, occasionally scampering over her lap to inspect the colorful fabric pieces. It was on this peaceful night that Snowdrop decided to plan something truly special for her beloved Kathleen. She knew how much her little friend adored surprises, so she put her thinking cap on and started connoissing with a magical idea. The following morning, Snowdrop bundled up in her warmest clothes and tucked Kathleen safely into her coat pocket. Together, they ventured into the enchanting forest, their favorite place to explore. Snowdrop had a basket in hand, ready to collect anything nature had to offer for their surprise. The forest was quiet and serene, a winter wonderland, with snow-covered trees and shimmering icicles hanging from the branches. The sunlight danced upon the snow, creating a magical sparkle that made the forest feel like a page out of a fairy tale. As they wandered deeper into the forest, Snowdrop spotted a familiar, ancient oak tree with a hollow trunk. She had always believed this tree to be magical. Snowdrop gently set Kathleen on the ground and whispered, "If we stay here, my little adventure." She reached into the hollow trunk, and to her delight, she found a small wooden chest. The chest had intricate carvings of frosty patterns and seemed to glimmer with an enchanting aura. Snowdrop carefully opened the chest and gasped with joy. Inside, she found a collection of tiny, hand-carved wooden animals, each one more exquisite than the last. There were rabbits, deer, foxes, and even a miniature owl. Snowdrop knew exactly what she would do with these treasures. She returned home and began to set up a tiny menagerie for Kathleen. Using pieces of fabric from her quilt and the wooden animals, she created a whimsical woodland scene right next to Kathleen's cozy little bed. That evening, as Kathleen scampered into her little nook, she stopped in her tracks, eyes wide with wonder. The sight of the miniature forest filled her with pure joy. Snowdrop knelt beside her and said softly, "Ice freeze, my dear Kathia. This is your very own enchanted forest. To remind you of our adventures, unfold Catway and nuzzle Snowdrop's hand in gratitude, squeaking happily." And so, in their cozy little house on the edge of the enchanting forest, Snowdrop and Catleya spent the winter nights indulged in warmth, love, and the magic of surprises. They found joy in the simplest of things, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. The end. Another gentle tale is ready to be shared. Orchid and Flower, a tale of helping. This story is about a kind girl named Orchid and a wise dragon named Flower who helped their village recover from a storm, strengthening their bond for their acts of kindness. But once upon a time, in a land filled with rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Orchid. Orchid had a special bond with the marvelous dragon called Flower. Flower, with scales as resplendent as shimmering sapphires, was not an ordinary dragon. She possessed the wisdom of ages and the gentle nature of a spring breeze. One fine morning, Orchid set out to gather healing herbs in the forest, her basket swinging at her side. Suddenly, she heard a faint crying sound coming from a nearby thicket. Curiosity, she tiptoed to the sound's source. To her surprise, she found a young dew trapped in a hunter's snare. A heart went out to the creature, and she carefully freed it from its bindings. The dew gazed at her with grateful eyes before bounding back into the woods. As Orchid continued her journey, she met Flower, who landed gracefully beside her. Flower had seen the whole incident from above and praised Orchid for her kindness. "Your good deeds have not gone unnoticed, dear Orchid," Flower said in her melodic voice. They turned to dust, and Orchid returned home with her basket full of herbs. That night, a terrible storm swept through their village. Trees were uprooted, and homes were flooded with rainwater. Orchid's house was not spared. The next morning, as the villagers began to assess the damage, Orchid and Flower offered their help. Flower used her magnificent strength to move fallen trees, while Orchid provided healing herbs and comfort to the injured. Together, they brought hope and relief to their community. As the days turned to weeks, the village slowly rebuilt, stronger and more united than before. The villagers were grateful for Orchid and Flower's unyielding support. Their bond only grew stronger, built on the foundation of mutual help and respect. On bright and sunny days, Orchid and Flower often flew over the hills and forests, their hearts filled with joy and their spirits forever linked. Kindness they shared echoed through the land, reminding everyone that even the smallest acts of helping could create ripples of goodness. And so, in the land of rolling hills and lush forests, Orchid and Flower continued to live happily, always ready to lend a helping hand. Good night. May your dreams bring you peace.